Alright, just gonna hit everyone one more time. But if I know you in real life, I'm so sorry. Moving on. Um. So, really quick. Basically, nothing's happened yet. Things are getting suspicious. I don't trust none of these people. I really don't. I really don't. Um, the killer is either one of these people or someone who's not listed here. That's pretty much where everyone's at. And by everyone, I mean me and her, because we're the only people interested in really trying to figure out what's going on. On the last time I played, George just proposed to Shannon and was like, tell me your answer later, basically. And so now Shannon is inside after hanging out with George. There we go. Sweet. Whatever that just said, her chest was filled almost to bursting point with a mixture of exultation and uncertainty that she couldn't easily describe. After stopping for a second in front of the servant room to take a deep breath and calm her heart, she opened the door. Right, because the schedules got flipped, and so now all the servants except for Goda are in the guest house. Inside, Goda, who had been ordered to take the midnight shift at the mansion tonight, was absorbed in an old, worn-out crossword puzzle magazine. He looked up for an instant to see whether one of the family had come, but when he realized that it was a fellow servant, he didn't give a shit. He returned to his puzzle as if nothing had happened.
源氏様より合田さんのお手伝いにつくように言われてまいりました。
Okay.
ああ、そうですか。それは助かります。
I don't remember that, but
そろそろ戸締まりの見回りに行きたかったのですが、ここを開けてもいいものか困っていたのです。何しろ、旦那様方の会合はまだだいぶ続きそうですからね。いつ何時お茶のご用命があるかもわかりませんし。
そうですよね。ではどうしましょうか。私が留守番を。
he's gonna push it off on her, isn't he?
ではシャノンさん、申し訳ありません
Wow,
が、
yeah.
お屋敷内の見回りをお願いします。私はここで親族の皆さんのご用命の待機をしておりますので。
And she's gonna do it too.
はい。
Shannon felt a twinge of annoyance. Despite the fact that she had come here to help out as a favor, she was being forced to do the job of the— are you being forced, girl? Just say it. Sorry. Forced to do the job of the person actually on duty as though it were natural. Furthermore, after one-sidedly forcing that task on her, Goda had once again gone back to his magazine and he had become immersed in his crossword puzzle. If it were me, I would just go home. I'd just go back to the guest house. For the time being, as a sign of respect for her elder, Shannon bowed her head and she left the room to make the rounds. Okay, but you've been there for 10 years, so you're the oldest to me. You have seniority. Getting a little angry had enabled her to bring the airy sensation she had been feeling until now under control a bit. Besides, she couldn't show this kind of face to Genji and Kennen. Until her heart was able to calm down, she wanted a little time to herself, and maybe going around the mansion wasn't such a bad way to do that. I guess, girl. From the dining hall, she began to hear the tumultuous voices of the family's discussion. Someone would speak at great length, and would then be opposed by someone else. That rebuttal would continue in a very long, drawn-out fashion until opposed by yet another person. That kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out through their voices. She had been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if she was discovered by Kraus. Thinking that, Shannon quick-footedly slipped by the entrance to the dining hall. Then, inside the mansion, controlled by darkness, She began to check that the house was all closed up, following a prearranged route. She walked down the hall, checking that each window was closed. On Rokkenjima, there were no humans other than the family, so in actuality, closing up wasn't that terribly meaningful of a task. Until Natsuhi had scolded them that this attitude was careless, closing up had not been customary in the Shiramiya family. I bet. The metal fixtures on the completely chilled windows were freezing, and every time she went to check on them, one by one, it felt like the glow in her heart seemed to cool down. Oh my god, bitch. What does this mean? Just then, she thought she saw something flickering across the hall. Flickering. Something like that shouldn't be visible beyond the darkness of the hall. Although she thought it was probably her eyes playing tricks on her, she killed her breathing for a brief moment. And grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed into the center of the hall. However, other than the occasional crack of thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe because she couldn't calm her heart, she saw something that didn't even exist. Don't play with me, Shannon. Shannon resumed checking the windows. I'm kidding. However, in the back of her mind, a certain unnerving possibility had been resurrected. Oh. Goodness fucking gracious. Sorry. It was that which had been passed down amongst the servants who served the Ushiramiya main family. That ghost story. The Witch of the Woods, okay? In which the mansion had different masters of the day and the night. In which the master of the night, Beatrice, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. Come to think of it, hadn't Canon-kun said that he had once seen it for himself? I bet he has. I bet, man, he got sulky when I didn't believe him, I being Shannon, and told him he was just seeing things. Could it possibly? Really? The roar of the thunder gave no answer. Shannon. Shannon's been here for 10 years. Since she was a little girl. If anyone is gonna, like, buy into this secret, like, bullshit story about this, like, witch in the woods, who's also, like, she's a servant, like Kumasawa, just, like, playing, like, yeah, it's gonna be Shannon. So I need you to be fucking for real with me, Shannon. Oh my god. Gorgeous. Oh my god, bitch. I get it. The pose. It's just like, what do you know that I don't? Yeah, take me back here. Take me to some real shit. Oh, is this like midnight? It's midnight. And this is where everyone is? Okay, Shannon's walking around. All the adults are in the room. Y'all are in here in the guest house. Goda's in the mansion. I guess she's in the guest house. Where are you? What exactly? We don't know. Cool. All the cousins in the cousins' room. I didn't like that. I didn't see where Nanjo was. Kenzo's in his room, but we didn't just see Nanjo in here with him. Where's Nanjo, bro? And I'm looking at you. I can't do this. Yes, I can. I can figure this shit out. What time is it, bitch? Is the next day? It's 6 o'clock. Okay. Aw, shit. Okay. The sacrifice is chosen by the key. Okay, shit. Day 2. Why were you seeing butterflies, Shannon? Shannon went to the mansion. We finna find out. Okay, sorry. Genji once again tightened his bow tie and looked outside through a crack in the curtains. Maybe the rain had died down a tiny bit since the previous night. But it didn't look like the thick rain clouds were planning to let any trace of the morning sun get by. The morning was dim and far from refreshing.
やはり今日いっぱいはやみそうにないか。
お待たせしました、源氏様。
It's the next day. The sun is up. I'm just, bruh. The wheels are turning. Cannon finished checking his appearance and exited the washroom. In a normal schedule, it was rare for anyone to have to suffer going straight from a midnight shift, to a morning shift. It was a special system for just the 2 days of the family conference. But then, as long as the typhoon didn't leave today, the relatives' stay on this island would last until tomorrow. Okay. Cannon thought that it was... So everyone's gonna leave tomorrow. Cannon thought that it was best to be prepared for the special schedule to be extended one more day. Please, God, get me off this island. The two of them left the guest house, opening their umbrellas. The rose garden had been devastated by the wind and rain last night. Even though they'd spent several days making it beautiful to welcome the guests, it had only taken one stormy night to ruin it. Cannon sighed. The two headed for the mansion. They were supposed to meet up with Goda and prepare breakfast. Goda was such a perfectionist that he would undoubtedly have been up for some time and already, and now be in the middle of preparing a breakfast both exquisite and as elegant as glasswork. They reached the overhang by the entrance to the mansion and folded up their umbrellas. Genji took from his pocket a bundle of several keys and used it to unlock the front door. There was nothing on Rakanjima outside the Oshirumiya family mansion, so there never used to be a custom of locking up. That is so interesting. However, Natsuhi had ordered that it be part of their duties to lock up the mansion from around midnight to early morning. Was the mansion locked last night? And it doesn't matter if you servants have it. We need, bruh. And unlocking in the early morning was to be done by the servants who had the morning shift. Since Goda would begin the preparation for breakfast as soon as he woke up, this task was to be undertaken by Genji and Cannon. Silence had fallen in the mansion, giving the impression that the mansion itself was still asleep.
では、朝の仕事を始めよう。
Sure. The two of them split up and began opening the curtains throughout the mansion. If the curtains remained closed, the inside of the mansion would be unable to shake off its gloom as if it hadn't yet managed to escape the previous night. I'm not seeing any blood on the floor. Cannon, following a well-versed procedure, went around the mansion, opening one window after another without having to retrace the steps once. Even with this horrible weather, by opening the curtains, it began to feel just a little bit like morning. While doing that, he passed in front of the kitchen. Even though he hadn't yet smelled anything, his empty stomach started aching in anticipation of the scent of Goda's much bragged about cooking.
おはようございます。
Did Shannon return back to the guest house? Is Kumasawa still asleep in the guest house? He tried to greet Goda, who he had thought would be preparing the meal inside the kitchen, but Goda was nowhere to be seen. The kitchen was darkly lit, and never mind the curtains, the ventilation fan wasn't even spinning. It was still cold in the room, without a hint of a flame, and of course no preparations for breakfast were taking. Okay. So Goda's out of here. Oh, okay. Goda's out of here. Honestly, that's fine with me. And if it's Shannon, I see why she did it. No comment, no questions. Although it must not be allowed. Honestly, if it's any of the servants, I see why they did it. Although it must not be allowed to happen, maybe Goda had overslept. Servants are humans too. They can sometimes fail to wake up or something and be late as a result. In the rare case of that happening, it was the virtue of a servant to casually smooth the situation over so as not to cause an unsightly scene, and to make sure that their masters never even noticed that such a mistake happened in the first place. Cannon took up the receiver of the phone fitted to the wall and dialed the extension number for the room where the servant slept. Where's Nanjo? Why did it not show his ass? It didn't even show him in the room. In a room. He couldn't hear that characteristic sound of a dial tone. Oh, okay, so the phones don't work. Cannon tried picking up the receiver again, but even so, he couldn't hear the usual dial tone. He tried dialing again, but it had no apparent effect. Could it be that the lightning last night had caused a mechanical fault and broken the internal telephone lines? The equipment in this mansion was all worn out. Cannon fully understood that even the smallest thing could have caused it to break down. Cannon gave up trying to wake him with the phone and dashed off to the room where the servant slept. The internal phones don't work? Okay. How long had she slept until? How long had it been since she had awoken and started lazily staring up at the ceiling? That vague sense of awakening was Natsuhi's usual morning experience. Her sleep... Okay, so Natsuhi's fine. I'm realizing. That's cool. Her sleep was always light, and she wouldn't even have been able to sleep at all without medicine. To Natsuhi, sleeping was definitely not a happy thing. When she looked outside, she saw that it was still pouring. If she hadn't sensed a tiny amount of light, she might have mistakenly thought that it was still last night. She herself was one of the hosts, so she mustn't wake up later than her guests. Urging herself on, she raised up her body, which still hadn't completely recovered from yesterday's weariness. Yeah, she went through it. While she was inside this room, no one would torment her. Real. Her headache wouldn't get any worse than it already was. This room was her only peaceful space. So when she left, it meant returning to the world of her husband's siblings, probing each other's minds. Good Lord. Then wouldn't it be better to just stay locked up in this room forever? No, girl, you gotta face today. Natsuhi smiled bitterly at this fantasy. Also, we gotta do a head count. She was starting to sound like Kenzo. Even though most of the time she would call Kenzo names for staying locked up in his own room and taking no notice of anyone, the truth was that she actually longed to do so herself. Natsuhi gave her head a small shake, and her fantasy was replaced by the reawakening of her usual headache. Such peaceful, serene music. When she reached for the doorknob, trying to leave the room, her hand touched the scorpion charm that she had hung from it before going to sleep the previous night. Oh, shit! The anti-magic charm. It was Maria's charm that Jessica had given Natsuhi. If she remembered correctly, Jessica had said something about it having the power to repel magic and that she should hang it from her doorknob. Maybe it was thanks to the charm that at least this room had been protected from her husband's siblings' malice. I'm starting to read and get pissed off. As she thought this, her mood began to get a little more cheerful. That is so sweet for her because she needs it. Then Natsuhi remembered. That's right. Last night I promised Jessica that I would give her a charm of my own in exchange for this one, didn't I? You sure did. It was so sweet. Natsuhi opened a drawer of her dresser and took out an antique accessory case that she had treasured ever since she was a child. Inside, there were many small objects that Natsuhi had thought were valuable at the time. From amidst those, she pulled out a red pouch. The fact that she still has this is so sentimental. I knew it. Inside was a small round mirror about 10 centimeters across. It looked quite old, but the design on the back of the mirror was very ornate and it felt like something with historical value. At the very least, it looked much more effective when compared to the other charm, which looked like a plastic scorpion key holder. She had heard that this mirror was a spiritual mirror to ward off evil spirits, and she had been given it specially by her grandmother when her grandfather's mementos had been distributed. It has been believed since ancient times that strange powers dwelt within mirrors. See, I knew she was a little fantasy girly. Most likely, the way they reflect light created a belief that they also deflect misfortune and malice in the same way. Natsuhi returned the mirror to its pouch. It would probably be a fitting object to hand over to Jessica. I thought that was a comma. It was a period. Just as she was placing it in her pocket, the sound of someone knocked on the door suddenly echoed throughout the room.
Hi.
おはようございます、奥様。源氏でございます。早朝から申し訳ございません。
I don't like this.
今行きます。何事ですか?
No servant had ever come to her this early in the morning, and especially not directly. Maybe something bad had happened. Yeah, it's spiking my anxiety. For example, maybe some fatal oversight had been made during the preparations for breakfast, and the household would be put to shame in front of the guests or something. Yeah, honestly, that's very likely. Like, that's one of her worst fears. Natsuhi breathed out slowly, as if getting a head start on the troubles she was surely about to be told of. Sorry, I had to wait for her to fully finish opening the door. When she opened the door, Genji once again said a morning greeting to her while bowing deeply. Natsuhi tentatively, Jesus responded. Natsuhi tentatively.
おはようございます。何かありましたか?
申し訳ございません。昨夜の落雷で電話機器に故障が出たようです。
Okay.
内線電話が普通になっておりますもので、直接のお伺いになってしまったことをお許しください。
That's not like wired in the house. It's the 80s. I don't know.
内線電話が普通? それは面倒になりましたね。修理は可能ですか?
残念ながら故障箇所がわかりません。後で業者を呼んで修理させたいと思います。
It's not like he could come today.
ということは、この台風が過ぎるまでは修理不能ということですか? つまり、客人たちの滞在中はずっと普通ということですね。客人たちのお世話に支障は
出ないよう最善を尽くします。
結構です。粗相のないようよろしく頼みます。
Natsuhi let out a small sigh of relief. She had been prepared for the worst. But a telephone breakdown wasn't the kind of trouble she was worried about. But then, even this would probably be enough to spark sarcasm from Ava. Yeah. Natsuki gave her head a light shake. You know she's like calling front desk as soon as she wakes up. Just to start some problems. So Goda's gone. Okay. Natsuki was indignant. We might have bigger problems, honey. To her, this was a much bigger problem than the phone's not working. I'd agree. And despite that, this piece of information was the part that had been postponed. Why did everything go well most of the time and then come to something like this when the relatives were visiting? Natsuki placed a hand to her forehead and shook her head sharply. Natsuki had exited into the hall and turned around for a second to close the door to her room. The unpleasant thing that she saw there silenced her completely. Don't say thing. What does that mean? And why didn't Genji say anything? Fucking stone cold ass face. Anyway. It was an unsettling sight, as if someone had dipped their fingers in a dark red liquid and clawed at the area around the doorknob. As though someone had soaked both of their hands in blood and groped at the door and the knob. Like someone had wanted to stage something like that and left this mark as an awful prank. Okay, I need them to confirm a theory that I have. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay. You don't sound too alarmed for me. Okay. This could be a joke. Like, anyone who doesn't like Natsuki could have done that, right? Like, Ava could have done that. But I also don't see Ava doing that. But my theory is, okay, they saw the fucking charm and were like, ooh, I tried to get in here. I tried to pick you, bitch. I was gonna kill you, but I fucking couldn't because of the charm, right? So you know what that fucking means? It means the person who did it knows about that goddamn charm and what it means. So it's someone who understands the power of the witch. And I swear to God, it's fucking Shannon, bro. But, like, that would be out of her character. So, like, is that the red herring? Who in the fuck would pull such a childish and disgusting prank? That's why I'm getting pissed off. Natsuki had this bitch has a tattoo. She is permitted to wear this eagle. No one else is. Okay, well, Canon is too, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so is Genji, okay? But, like, Kumasawa isn't. But I'm telling you, these bitches... Natsuki had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. It could have been Rudolph or Ava, like, trying to piss her off. It could just totally be a prank, right? But I bet you... she was gonna be picked, right? But they saw the charm and they were like, that ruins the whole fucking bullshit. Nazi had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. So even if she pushed the issue, it would just seem as though she was making a fuss about nothing. I guess that she doesn't have anything to fear, but like, she don't know. They don't know the stakes. They got the letter. They're not taking it seriously, I guess. Only me and Kyrie are. On the contrary, it would definitely be better for her to say she hadn't even noticed that such a prank had been played in the first place. Natsuki gave the order to have it cleaned and headed off to the parlor with clacking heels. I guess she's like, I have bigger things to worry about. That's true. That we don't know how dire the situation is. They probably still give a fuck about their little contract. When Natsuki... Okay, I see y'all also. Okay, y'all are here. Cool. I'm watching, y'all. When Natsuki and Genji arrived in the parlor, Ava and Hideyoshi were already there. Who's not here then? Goda's not here. Genji's alive. Natsuki's alive. Are the kids alive? Please, Lord, let the kids be alive. It's offer up the 6 tips. Letter from the witch. I'm sick of you, bitch. On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. Yeah, so it's gonna be 6 people dead. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. 2 more. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. I don't know what that means. And then we start killing more people. Okay, cool. I wish he would quit this fake accent. Oh my god. It has been a very stressful day for her yesterday. I'm sorry. It's just like, when you're down, you don't have to kick me, bitch. Have some grace. Nazi returned Ava's gaze, which was fiercely competitive, even though it was early in the morning, with a weary expression. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too early for this shit. Then Cannon jogged in. After bowing an apology to the relatives for running inside the mansion, he approached Genji and told him something in a small voice. Kano.
申し訳ございません、奥様。お屋敷内もゲストハウスも回ったのですが、まだ。一体どこへ行ったという。
I need a head count, bro.
とりあえず今はゴーダより朝食の準備が先決です。至急対応しなさい。
I'm honestly also, I'm annoyed with her for like not doing shit but ordering people around. Like, did we even have to wake you up for this? Like, he's gonna tell me to get to work. Cannon glanced at Genji. It looked like he had something else to report, but needed to ask Genji whether he was the right person to say it. Genji nodded and decided to give the report himself. Ooh. Yeah, what's up? Who's missing? Your husband is also nowhere to be found. They don't sleep in the same room? I just realized that. Damn. Damn, he said I didn't even mean to come to you first. Who? I'm scared. So Kraus is dead, Goda's dead, and what? 4 more people? Both of them? And Rosa? Can I mark them? Is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Where's Nanjo? And Shannon's ass. I need to find, gotta find Shannon, bro.
Guest house.
They got Kyrie because she was asking too many questions.
屋敷にもですか？
And they were all the right questions. I'm convinced. Damn, that's crazy.
はい。ゲストハウスの部屋にもおられません。
When she had heard that Goda alone was missing, she had thought that he might have slept in or was loafing around somewhere. But when she heard that several of the relatives were also missing, she began to start thinking a little more optimistically. Last night's family conference might have continued all night and, in fact, might still be going on. It would then be imaginable that they had wanted to cool off their heads after being in that stuffy room and had all gone off on a group walk through the rain. At like 2 a.m., girl? The part about cooling off their heads really sounded like something Krause would like to say. Make it up, girl, I guess. Probably Goda had been called to go with them to aid them with something. Goda was not a man who lost track of time. Yeah, girl, he aided them with their snacks on the way to heaven. He had to have understood that if he did not return, the preparations for breakfast would be hindered. That's only 5 people, so someone else is missing. And please don't let it be a kid. So perhaps as much as he'd like to leave, the atmosphere would not permit him to, and the conference was continuing in that manner, even this very moment. Yes, Nazi thought this to be an extremely persuasive theory. Nazi remembered the illusion that she had felt that morning of being sucked into a continuation of the previous night. And upon learning that the feeling wasn't just an illusion, she once again let out a deep, weary breath. Tired. I'm so sorry, girl. Because the banquet of the filthy vultures circling around Kinzo's property was still continuing. Girl, you don't know that half, I feel like.
大方、庭園のどこか、あるいは海岸の方で相も変わらず遺産の話を繰り返しているのでしょう。
Yeah.
ゴーダを呼び戻さなくてはいつまでも朝食の準備が整いません。
No one can cook some eggs.
ってことはなんや。
You gotta wait. I'm sorry.
兄さんたちの話し合いはまだ続いとるんか。
He's like, and I wasn't invited? She had thought she'd spoken in a small voice, but Hideyoshi had overheard her and managed to grasp the situation.
兄さんもルドルフもタフね。ローザの場合は若さかしら。私たち夕べの24時過ぎにはもう眠くてベッドに戻らせてもらったんだけど、確かにあの時点でもまだ兄さんたちは熱を交わしてたわ。
So y'all left first? Y'all left first and y'all left together. Okay. Okay, plan A, the servants did it. Specifically Shannon. Plan B, this bitch did it. Because I could also see her drawing on Natsuhi's door because she fucking hates her.
男って熱くなると嫌ね。
And she's so greedy. So, like, it's not like... She literally just, like, Natsuhi snorted, her face still blank.
カノ、表を探してらっしゃい。ゴーダを見つけたらすぐに戻って朝食の準備をするよう伝えなさい。
かしこまりました。
Girl, does she just think Goda's standing in the rain, bro?
夏日姉さん、表とは限らないわよ。お父様の書斎ってことはないかしら。
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Let's look in there, please.
なるほど。考えられん話やないで。どういう話の流れかはわからんが、お父さんの主催に場所を移して、お父さんにも混じってもらって議論を続けてるっちゅう可能性は十分あるやろ。
At 2 a.m. at night.
そのような汚らわしい話題を好んで、お父様が書斎へ招き入れることなど考えられません。
Cope-harder, girl.
あらそう。じゃあ仕方ないわね。 源氏さんとカノン君は申し訳ないけど外を探してきてちょうだい。確かに兄さんなら頭を冷やすために外を散歩しようなんて言い出しても不思議はないわ。
In the I guess they got umbrellas.
たとえこんな天気でもね。私はお父様の書斎に行ってくるわ。ひょっとするとそこにいるかもしれないしね。
Oh my god.
客人であるエヴァさんにそこまでのご足労はおかけできません。
She is not smooth.
私が行ってきます。朝のご挨拶も兼ねて。
I'll go with you.
お願いするわね。でも朝の挨拶を交わしてくれるかは疑わしいわね。
I somehow doubt whether he will return your greeting.
夏日姉さんってお父様とは仲よろしかったかしら。
Damn, did he even like you?
仲が良いかは分かりかねますが。
Honestly, girl, you need to just stop talking to her. Like, the longer you talk to her, the dumber you
後ろ
sound.
宮家の跡継ぎの妻を許されるだけの信頼を得ていると確信しています。
You can't win with a delusion against this type of enemy. It's just not effective.
ならきっと返事くらいはしてくれるわね。お父様とは朝食くらいご一緒したいの。ぜひ降りてきてくださるよう説得してくれないかしら。
Oh my god.
私たちはすっかり嫌われちゃってるみたいだけど、そこまで信頼を得ている夏日姉さんの言うことなら聞いてくれそうですもの。
Oh my god.
そこまで切ってお父様を説得できず一人で降りてきちゃったりしたら。
You cannot put her in this box like this and say this is how I declare victory. Oh, ruthless.
信頼を得ているなんて二度と言えないかもね。
And she only brought this fan to hide her awful smile. I can't. Where's Hideyoshi?
自信はありませんが努力はします。
If I were her, I would just be like, girl, I don't know, he's your dad, but I'll talk to him. Like, that's all you gotta say. Shit. Oh my god. Natsuki responded, discouraged. However, knowing Kenzo's temperament, she had absolutely no confidence in her ability to bring him out. Eva herself was treating it like a joke, expecting that it couldn't be done. But even so, Natsuki would lose face if she gave up. I really don't think... Okay. Said it was impossible for her and let Eva go instead. Ava's mean-spirited and unreasonable demand caused Natsuki's tightly clenched fist to shake. When Genji realized this, he softly spoke to her over her shoulder.
奥様、よろしければこれをお持ちください。
それは
Ooh, the key to the room. It was the key to Kenzo's study. The study would always lock itself and couldn't be unlocked as long as Kenzo forbade entrance. However, since Genji was especially trusted by Kenzo, he was allowed to carry a key to that door. So only Genji has this special key.
でもこの鍵を使ったらあなたも咎めを受けるのではありませんか。
親方様は深くお休みになられている時、扉を叩くくらいではお耳に届かないこともございます。
I don't think he's gonna be in there.
それに親方様にお部屋を出ていただくよう説得するには扉越しでは難しゅうございましょう。
Like, I know he locked himself in there, but I don't know. He might be the missing sixth person.
お使いください。
現地
Until now, Natsuki had thought of Genji as a cold servant who worked directly under Kenzo and would never work for her. But it looked like she would have to alter her understanding of him. She wanted to communicate her feelings of thanks, but by then, Genji had already turned his back on her and was walking down the corridor with Cannon. Where is Shannon, bro? And where is Nanjo? But as Natsuki watched them go, the words that reached her from behind were sneering.
じゃあお父様を必ず連れてきてね。 息子のかわいい嫁の言うことですもの。きっと聞いてくれるわよ。
Girl. If I were Natsuhi, I would just go to my room and I would just stay there.
私たちは客人だから、ここでのんびりくつろがせてもらうわ。
Like, I would just stay in my room for a full 24 hours.
予算買えば口が過ぎるで。
I'd just be like, she does not exist to me.
すまんが夏希姉さん、お父さんのことよろしく頼むわ。
I know she hates when they come around, both of them. Natsuhi left without replying, at a swift pace, her heels clacking loudly with every step. Stomping down the hallway. Are the kids okay? God dang. After all that excitement the previous night, there was no way anyone was going to wake up soon. All they're sleeping in. Oh, 1, 2, 3? George, Jessica, and I were snoring loudly on the bed in the cousin's room. But Maria, who didn't join in and would have gone straight to bed the previous night, suddenly and completely opened her eyes. Sweet. All 4. We made it. Damn. Wait. He's dead. Probably. Alive, 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 alive. Dead, dead, probably. Alive, alive, dead, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alive, alive, dead, probably 5. Unconfirmed. 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 Okay. As she rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked around, the loud snoring coming from the 3 cousins continued. For a while, Maria had to think about what had happened. After that, she realized that her mother was not with her and quickly got lonely. Aww. Maria left the cousin's room, trying to head on to the room that had been arranged for her and her mother. Paying no heed to the 3 who were sleeping soundly, she made a loud slamming sound on the way out. In response, Battler mumbled and rolled over in his sleep, but it wasn't enough to wake him. After a while, Maria returned, once again opening the door with a lively bang. When she had left the room, her face had been sleepy, but after returning, she now looked discontent. After that, she climbed up on Battler's bed, which happened to be the closest, and started yelling and jumping on it like it was a trampoline. You're gonna have to cut all that out. Absolutely not. Girl. After making sure that I was awake, Maria jumped over onto George's bed and started bouncing on that too. In that manner, the 3 of us were all greeted with an extremely pleasant awakening.
ありがとう、マリアちゃん。起こしてくれたんだね。僕たちは夕べが遅かったから寝坊しちゃったのを起こしてくれたんだね。でも、もう少しだけ起こし方を優しくしてくれると完璧だったかな。
ジョージ兄さんは本当に大人だよ。尊敬するぜ。
Cause me and Jessica would have punted this girl across the room.
もうすぐ7時なんだな。ま、確かにもう起きてもいい頃だぜ。
Oh no! 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 I just realized her mom was missing! No! No! Oh my god. This isn't good.
もう起きてお屋敷の方に行っちゃったのかな。
Oh, well, both your parents are fine. Damn! God dang! Yeah. Oh Oh no. God dang, bro. Maria kept groaning, ooh, ooh, and looking unhappy. It seemed like she wasn't simply lonely because she couldn't find her mother, but actually unhappy because her mother wasn't in the place she thought she was, and this made her feel like she'd been tricked. If we could have just told her where her mother was, that might have been enough to satisfy her. But unfortunately, as long as we were here, we had no way of finding that out. Yeah, and your dad might be gone. And both your parents are out of here. I think. If I think, oh, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bro. Oh, oops.
Maria, 一緒に屋敷へ行こうぜ。
I don't know how I did that.
きっとローザおばさんもそこさ。
おママはお屋敷
I hope so.
なら行く。お
そうだね。親多
Oh,
分
I'm so...
親たちはもう向こうに行ってるんだよ。
Oof. Maria regained her usual composure, as though her earlier temper had never happened. We got dressed, left the room, and headed for the mansion. Is there, like, evidence of them returning to their rooms? Like, how did it happen? Oh my god. The door to the study was once again knocked upon. But there was no answer. He was still sleeping, and she couldn't wake him. If she returned downstairs, saying something like that, Ava would be very amused and triumphant. And even aside from the whole Ava issue, there was a problem that yesterday, during this once-a-year family conference, he had stayed locked up all day and had still not come out to greet the guests. Even though he was the head, no, especially because he was the head, he couldn't fail to make an appearance. Could she convince him? Natsuhi readied herself and, using the key that she had borrowed from Genji, opened the door. Okay, a sweet stench that seemed to eat into her brain, metal, poured from the narrow opening she had created, and though she was prepared for it, she couldn't help but grimace. Thinking that he might still be sleeping, Natsuhi entered the room quietly. When she did, Kenzo, already awake, was looking down out of the window.
お目覚めでしたか。おはようございます。
どうやって入ったのか。
I was not expecting this. Kenzo spoke with his back still facing her. His voice was not harsh but calm, and Natsuhi was slightly reassured. However, he was at least in a bad enough mood that he had ignored the sound of all of that knocking, even though he had been awake. Natsuhi wasn't able to break the tension.
申し訳ございませんでした。源氏さんにお願いして書斎の鍵をお借りさせていただきました。
ほう、源氏がか。我が友がそれに足ると思ったならば、話を聞かぬわけにもいくがい。
I really like his voice. It's so cool.
して、私に何言おうか。
He just feels like a big dragon.
はい。もうじき朝食の準備が整いますが、ぜひお父様にもおいでいただきたく思いまして。
朝食はここで取る。いつものように運ばせるがいい。
しかしお父様、年に一度の親族会議です。せめてお顔をお見せになってください。
下に降りて、私の死後、遺産をどのように食いちぎるのかを決める議論に加われというのか。バカらしい。
It already belongs to...
そのような話は私を抜きで好きに進めるがいい。そしてそれが親族会議だというなら、私がこの部屋を出るほどの価値はない。
I feel like he's been very clear about that.
私は忙しいのだ。構うでない。
And also, I guess this means Kenzo is confirmed fine. I don't know why he can't just... With his last words came the threat that any further questions would be useless. Natsuki realized that adding any further pleas would finally bring his wrath down upon her. It would be annoying to hear Ava sarcastically say that she couldn't have been able to convince him after all, but there was nothing more Natsuki could do.
そうですか。わかりました。みんな残念がるでしょうが。
わかりました。
そう伝えます。
Natsuki decided to give up. Bowing silently, she made to leave the room before Kenzo's spasmodic temper could fire up. As she did, Kenzo called out to her. Compared to the usual Kenzo, this voice was calm and gentle, like it came from another person.
Natsuki. 後ろ宮の家に嫁ぎ、もう随分になるな。
はい。後ろ宮を名乗ることを許されてからもう随分になります。
前の家が恋しくなることもあるか。
Is he being legit? Like, I'm I
嫁ぐとは成果を捨てることです。私は後宮夏日。帰る家も懐かしむ家もすべてはこの後宮の家なんです。
I'm just so confused. It was definitely not an exaggeration. Such was the level of Natsuki's resolve in calling herself in Ushiramiya. That was why she was so sorrowful that despite all her effort, it had been fruitless and she was not even accepted by her husband. Like, he doesn't even like his own kids. Does he like Natsuki? Ah. Okay. Is this him in his old age?
どういう意味ですか、お父様。
Regretting being a misogynist, I guess. Natsuki was shocked. I was also shocked. If Kenzo's words just now had been meant literally, they would have been more than enough to make up for all she had suffered up to that point. Is he saying Natsuki is fit to be the head? If she was a man? Kenzo once again faced away from her. He had told her to forget it, but Natsuki couldn't help feeling a warmth in her heart. Honestly, she needs it. Like... This is bizarre.
後宮家の名誉も栄光も、そしてお父様が残されたものもすべてこの夏日が必ずや守ってみせますから。
Or... What if Natsuki is the murderer? What if Natsuki is the murderer and she's just kind of like tripping right now, and it's like her motive is that everyone is pissing her off in this family? What if she played that own prank on herself? Like with the blood on the door, and she has the charm to kind of complete her own story. Like she threw the guilt off on herself, and what if it's really her? Because what is this bullshit I'm looking at? That's honestly, I'm more apt to believe that she's the killer. And she killed her husband. And why she didn't kill Hideyoshi and Ava, maybe because they left too early. No. See, because this is some bullshit. I feel like.
ならばお前は間違いなく我が血族で後宮家の栄光を引き継ぐものだ。
No, because this man doesn't even like his own fucking family, bro. He literally said all of them can die. So why would he care about one married into his family? You are unmistakably my blood relative. And we know Natsuki is someone who is a fantastical, like, person. Like, she will just get lost in her head and just make something that she thinks to be true, you know?
お前の衣服にわしがないことを嘲笑う者もいよう。しかし、それに耳を貸すことはない。
Because even when he was shit-talking his kids, he didn't even say anything about her. He was like, my first son is an asshole. My second daughter is a whore. It was just going all like,
心にわしを持つ者だけが真の私の血族なのだ。お前を後宮家に迎えられたことを今は光栄に思っている。
And why would he be saying this now? This is so out of left field. Without saying anything, but I'm not gonna come downstairs, is what he's saying. Without saying anything more, Kenzo remained with his back to Natsuki. Or maybe he's lying. However, Natsuki couldn't help but feel something warm well up inside her that she hadn't felt since long ago, when she had been just a child. Natsuki bowed silently to his back and left the room. So now she's gonna go downstairs like... He said I'm his real daughter. What? Oh, I see her in my nightmares, bro. I came to check on you. When Natsuki left the study, she saw Ava climbing the stairs and her eyes met. Ava was smirking unpleasantly, thinking that Natsuki had just left the room trudgingly after failing to convince Kenzo. However, the way Natsuki was now, such a frivolous laugh would not disturb her. She was not permitted to wear the family crest on her clothing. Oh, she couldn't get a tattoo either, huh? But she was permitted to wear it in her heart. So she spoke calmly, clearly, and confidently, with the dignity of the one who would protect the glory of the Ushiromiya family. Oh. Oh. Like, let's be real, right? Who would know their father the best, right? Like, the one that is his blood and his literally the same breed of asshole that he is, right? Or is it this woman? You know what I mean? Like... See, and even when I feel like the Kenzo we saw was the Kenzo in the very motherfucking beginning who was screaming at the sky and crying, right? He was crying a fucking fuck ton over Beatrice, and he was saying fuck my kids and fuck everything that has literally nothing to do with Beatrice. That's the man that man was not crying, bro. That man, bruh. The Kenzo we saw was hacking up a storm. This man, cool, calm, and collected. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Hell, that might be the 19th person. Natsuki did not answer. So much is going on. Just as Kenzo had done earlier, She showed Ava her back as she headed down the stairs. Okay, the only thing I know for sure at this point is that none of these 3 kids gave Maria the umbrella. I think anyone else could have given her that umbrella. And I really think it was one of the servants. That's not Goda. I also think the servants are the killers. One of them, maybe all of them, except Goda. And why that is because they all serve Kenzo directly. And Kenzo is the only one that knows what the fuck is going on. And I think Kenzo also expects to die. So, I mean, Kenzo might also be part of it too. I don't know. Just as Kenzo had done earlier, she showed Ava her back as she headed down the stairs. Right. Struggling to gather what had happened, Ava could only determine that she had been made fun of and that something had happened to quickly bolster Natsu's confidence. Even so, she didn't have the courage to risk Kenzo's wrath. Unable to even knock on the door, she could only scratch at the air in front of it, cluck her tongue, and follow after Natsuki.
それで兄さんたちはいたの?
No, bitch, they weren't.
お父様に聞いたの? 聞きそびれましたが、書斎の中にはいませんでした。お父様が夫たちの下船な話のために入室を許すこともありえませんから、下に降りて使用人たちが探してくれるのを待ちましょう。朝食は遅れますが、お茶でもいかがです？
I've never seen her smile before.
別に結構。
Ava couldn't hide her confusion, me either, girl, over the complete difference in Natsu's demeanor. She was acting so boldly, and while Ava hated to admit it, she even had a sense of dignity about her. Unable to find fault with anything, she could only follow Natsuki back to the parlor. That is... what a person. Damn, I can't find a single flaw. I've been looking for you too. When the 2 of them returned to the parlor, not only Hideyoshi, but the 4 children and Nanjo as well had gathered there. So Nanjo's alive. I don't know where Kumasawa is. Genji, who had been talking with Hideyoshi, reported the current situation when he noticed that Natsuki had returned. No, girl. Oh! So Kumasawa is fine. The clock read a little past 8 a.m. 8 o'clock was the time that breakfast was supposed to have started. The mere fact that the host had gone over that time limit was a disgrace under normal circumstances. Oh! Is Shannon the 6th person? Corrales is gone, probably. Rudolph Carrier, Rosa, Goda, Shannon. Because we found Nancho. And she just talked to Kenzo. Question mark, right?
Shannon まで? まったく。主人は何を従えて散歩に出かけたのですか?
How many people couldn't be found? Here's the thing. The killer could be any one of the people that we verified, but it also could be one of the people missing. Everyone was there are barely any alibis still. With the number of people having grown so large, it was starting to feel truly unpleasant, as though they were the only ones being left out on something interesting. Kenzo's been locked in his room. Who knows if that is even for real. Natsuki went to bed early. George's parents went to bed early. I don't think it's the cousins. All the servants are up to no good, I'm convinced. Shannon went back to the mansion, and Shannon saw a bunch of bullshit before she went back to the mansion. No one knows where Nanjo's been. Like, come on. With the number of people having grown so large, I think I read this before. Whoops. At the very least, it looked like the children, no, Maria especially, felt the same way. That poor baby. She was indignant, her stomach grumbling, almost as though her mother and the others had left her alone to go off and eat something delicious without her. Aww. Trying to fix her bad mood, the other children were flipping through the channels on the television, trying to find a program that might interest Maria. Nanja was sitting on the sofa, gazing blissfully at the children while reading a book. No doubt it was a book about chess. The sound of footsteps came rushing towards them with a pitter patter. There was only one set, so they realized before they saw the source that it was not Kraus and the rest, but probably Cannon. Damn.
奥様、失礼します。
その様子では見つけられなかったようですね。
申し訳ございません。まだ。
もう十分です。ご苦労をかけました。
She didn't know where they were, but they had to be somewhere on the island. They hadn't put anything in their mouths since last night, so their stomachs must be growling about now. They would surely saunter in any time now. Nazi was already dumbfounded, and she had begun to think that there was no urgent need to find them right then.
私はお客様方にお茶のご用意をしに厨房へ行きます。二人とも早朝からご苦労様でした。
Nazi, acting as though the release in tension had caused a new surge in her headache, left the parlor. It's so funny how they describe her headache as acting. Right? Because she, back to my theory number 2, right? It's not the servants, it's Nazi. Cannon tried to call her as she left, but Nazi departed swiftly. I'm just, like, assuming it's unreliable narrator. Like, especially now that we're changing perspectives a little bit from Battler. Like, you can't, I feel like you can't trust anyone. Which would be the point, right?
はい。旦那様方のお姿を見つけることはできませんでしたが、その
Cannon sounded evasive. He still didn't know where they were, but maybe he had found something with some relation to that. When Eva and Hideyoshi noticed this exchange of words, they came over. They probably noticed the slightly strange way Cannon was acting.
どうしたんや、カノン君。クラウス兄さんたちは見つかったんか？
実は
I just hear, "What's going on, Cannon君?"
バラテリエの倉庫の様子がおかしいのです。
Uh-oh.
様子がおかしいというのはどういう意味だ？
それがその何と説明すればいいのか。
Yeah, get into it. Cannon once again hesitated. He wasn't speaking anything like you'd expect from the usually fearless Cannon. Fearless? Eva and Hideyoshi exchanged quizzical looks at this display.
どういうこと？
Let's go see.
倉庫の中に兄さんたちがいたんじゃないの？
いえ、中はこれから調べます。その鍵を取りに戻ったところなのですが。
To get the key?
その
ようわからんが、とにかく中を調べればいいだけの話じゃないか。その倉庫の鍵はどこにあるんや？
使用人室にあります。
I bet it fucking is.
すぐに中を確かめましょう。
I bet it is in the servant's room. Ganon dashed off to the servant room and returned with the key. Genji left the parlor, saying that he would go check, but Eva and Hideyoshi also followed. Thank you. Yeah, we need everyone to move together, bitch. What was this something odd about the storehouse that caused the usually fearless Ganon to hesitate? I'm gonna keep calling him Ganon on accident. It was still pouring outside, but the curiosity over this something that Ganon could talk about won out. While the children made a big fuss watching television, Ganon and the rest dashed off to the entrance. The Rose Garden storehouse was a place that housed various tools used to manage the garden. It was definitely not a pretty building. Because of its appearance, it had been hidden in a corner of the Rose Garden. Cannon, Genji, Eva, and Hideyoshi came cutting across the Rose Garden, holding umbrellas. They entered a small path just off the rose garden, which was not used by those simply appreciating the garden, but only by those maintaining it. Where is the doctor? We need the doctor. As they dashed further along it, the front of the storehouse came into view. It was a very old shed of a storehouse, and compared to the flawlessly perfect beauty of the rose garden, it was pretty seedy looking. It was easy to understand why it had been built in a hard-to-see place. Ava and Hideyoshi arrived at the storehouse long after Kanon and Genji. Long after? Yeah, why y'all taking off so fast? Slow down.
こんなところに倉庫なんか建ててたのね。何よそれ。
That's like the most serious I've ever heard her say. When Ava looked at where Kanon was pointing, she was at a loss for words. Noticing this, Hideyoshi also followed Kanon's finger and was likewise too shocked to speak. The entrance to the storehouse was kind of a shutter. And there, everyone there now understood why Kanon had been unable to find words that could describe what he saw. On the shutter, which was completely filthy from being exposed to wind and rain for so long, plastered on it, oh my god, a magic circle, bitch. Something that looked like a strange dark red liquid, mucus, or maybe it was some sticky paint, not blood. Some kind of ghastly substance had been used to draw an indescribably eerie shape. The rain had caused it to drip down in several places, like fresh blood leaking from an open wound. There was no longer any point in being choosy with words. A ghastly dark red substance meant to look like blood had been used to draw some kind of figure or mark, intended to suggest something ominous. 2 concentric circles were drawn there, and inside them was a design that looked like a cross. The 4 ends of the cross were widely exaggerated, and it looked like some kind of crest from somewhere around Europe. Like some Western bullshit, like Kento likes. And in the cracks between these shapes, written closely packed together, were some unfamiliar characters. Or possibly symbols. Mm-hmm.
あれか悪魔の儀式とかの魔法陣いうやつとちゃうか
With reference to this ghastly shape, drawn with a deep red dripping substance, Hideyoshi's comparison was not unreasonable. Honestly, let's get Maria out here to investigate. I'm sure she knows exactly what this is.
雨が降り出す前にここに来ましたが、その時には何も書かれてませんでした。
Last night. Did you draw it? Did Shannon draw it? Did not see you draw it. Did you draw it, Genji? Did Kento draw it?
ただの倉庫小屋とはいえ、こんな気持ち悪い落書きを1秒たりとも放置したくないわ。
Untouched.
倉庫の中に塗料もあります。
Shouldn't we preserve the crime scene?
応急処置でとりあえず塗り消して後日天気のいい日に改めて塗装しましょう。
I guess it is very distressing to look at. Genji remembered that he had just recently seen another piece of graffiti and that it had too had been made with a strange dark red substance of the same color as this. That must have been, that's right, he had seen it on the door to Natsui's room.
カノン君、さっさとこの落書きを消して戻りましょう。
The person wants it to be there, right? If I had to flip the chessboard around like my good sis would say.
たとえ倉庫とはいえ、実家の落書きは本当に腹立たしいわ。
Because if you see like this magic shit here, it's gonna make you think Witch of the Forest, right?
はい、すぐに済ませますので。
Cannon squatted in front of the shutter and unlocked it. He then lifted it up with all of his strength. Oh shit, what's it gonna be? A boisterous noise resounded, and the eerie shape drawn on the shutter began to get sucked in through the top as the shutter was raised. At least for the time being, the ominous thing disappeared from their direct gaze, and they all breathed a sigh of relief. Oh shit. Thanks to a kids program that they had come across, Maria was feeling much better. Aw, Battler and Jessica were making fun of the kids program at every turn, cackling. George was enjoying the program along with Maria. Nanju sat on a sofa by himself, passing the time by reading quietly. I know he's ready to go. They heard hurried footsteps coming from the hallway. Oh shit. They were footsteps from a single person. Did that mean that it wasn't the group of four that just left? Oh shit. Genji was the one who had returned. It was very rare for Genji, who considered being out of breath a violation of a servant's virtues, to be gasping for air. God damn. He had probably come dashing back from outside the mansion. His shoulders were soaking wet, and he didn't have his usual smart appearance. When Genji noticed Nanjo looking at him, he gave a small silent bow and quickly approached him. Yeah, we need you to come look at some bodies. As Genji whispered something into Nanjo's ear, his face changed color. He stood from the sofa, trying not to be noticed by the children who were still engrossed by the TV. God dang! And the two of them rapidly left the parlor, muffling their footsteps. Just as they were leaving the parlor, they came across Natsuhi, who was pushing a serving cart loaded with a tea set. Oh. Genji told Natsuhi her husband's on his body, bro. Then leaving the serving cart where it was, the three of them started dashing towards the entrance. Yeah, the kids are gonna see. George noticed him running down the rose garden through the window. Oh shit.
Genji-san to Nanjo sensei to, あれは夏日おばさんかな。
Girl.
どうしたんだよ、兄貴。
何かあったのかな。
Yeah.
ひどい慌てようだったね。
Ooh. Jessica and Maria also realized something had happened from the fact that Eva, Hideyoshi, and Nanjo were no longer in their seats. And because the serving cart had been abandoned at the entrance to the parlor. Yeah, it's time to check it out.
行ってみようぜ。俺たちだけのけ者なんて面白くねえし。
Regret. For some reason, what Battler said sounded extremely indiscreet. But they couldn't deny that they were a little insecure and concerned after seeing the adults run off into the rain, disregarding their appearance. Ooh, Jessica's insecure words spoke for all of them.
おい、マリア。お前も来るか。それともテレビを見てるか。
うん。マリアはテレビがいい。うん。
僕たちだけで行こう。マリアちゃん、すぐ戻るからね。テレビを見て待ってるんだよ。
God dang. Oh, by the time the kids went outside, they had lost sight of the adults who had left earlier. But it looked like Jessica had a pretty good idea of where they had gone from the direction they'd been running. Following Jessica, they ran through the rain-soaked rose garden. It felt like the wind suddenly got stronger. The malicious sound of thunder began to ring out like it had the previous night. It felt like something eerie had surrounded the island and was trying to stop them from moving forward. Girl, please.
この先には何があるんだ。
確か園芸道具なんかの倉庫があったはずだぜ。
そんなところに一体何があるんだろうね。
Just as Jessica had said, a storehouse came into view in front of them. They could also see the adults there. The shutter to the storehouse was open, and several of the adults looked as though they were searching for something. For some reason, only Nazi was outside the storehouse, not even holding an umbrella. She was facing away from them. Jesus. She was facing away from them, and it looked like she was hanging her head. Shit. The ones who had just left, Genji, Nanjo, and Natsuhi, and the ones who had left before them, Kanon, Eva, and Hideyoshi, made this large gathering of people. But there was absolutely no bustle of activity. Damn. When Natsuhi realized that the children had come, a terrible expression rose to her face, and she ran at them with her arms spread wide. Oh, that's a mother right there. Oh no. However, no. Because of that, the kids saw that scene which Natsuhi was trying to keep them away from. Inside the storehouse, with the shutter wide open, a flickering fluorescent light shone down. And over there, goddamn. Jessica's piercing shriek rang out. But that was just because Jessica's scream was the loudest. The same thing spilled out of Battler and George's mouths as well. This fucking music. Ava, just like Natsuhi, spread her arms and with a terrible expression roared at the kids. Oh, that's a mother too, baby. When Natsuhi had spread her arms, one might have thought that she was trying to prevent them from advancing any further. However, right now, that wasn't why Ava was spreading her arms. She was trying to hide that terrible scene from the kids. It was her mother's heart, trying to protect the eyes and hearts of us children by attempting to block our view of that terrible scene by at least the width of one of her arms. This fucking music, bitch. Oh my god. Oh, your bruh. Oh! I had seen this kind of cheap scene all too often. In manga, I'm so sorry. In manga, TV, anime, and movies, I had seen it over and over again. This was just seeing something appear in real life that I'd seen plenty of times before in some of those more sensational movies, wasn't it? That alone shouldn't... but that suit! God damn! I'm sorry, it's the old bastards, isn't it? God damn, that is awful, bro. God damn, I'm so sorry. Oh, I get it. Then that's Uncle Carl's. Bro, this is like one of my worst fears. He's gotta like put the pieces together. And Kyrie-san and Auntie Rosa. Whoa. I'm so sorry. That's nuts. And this man just going off. Damn. Okay. Hang on. Damaged after their deaths. Here's my thing, okay. Is it confirmed? Okay, not yet. Here's my thing. I can't trust him, bro. And here's the thing. You need a doctor and a mystery to tell you what's what, right? But if I don't know where the doctor's at, and the doctor is also, like, suspicious, can I even trust this? Assuming I can trust this. 6 hours have passed since death. That's kind of what we expected, right? In the middle of the night? Yeah. Yeah, you do need to watch what you motherfucking say. Because I'm trying to figure this shit out, okay? Okay. Then you need to start with that. Cause like what a doctor says in a mystery, that's important shit, bro. Those are clues. What did they do? Oh, he dropped that accent. Maybe, I don't know, I can't tell. Nancy caught Jessica in her arms, and Auntie Ava caught George, but no one was there to catch Madeline. So I was the only one who could approach the entrance to the storehouse. If only there had been someone to catch me too. They're right in front of you. No, I wouldn't have needed to have this horrible, evil scene burned into my eyes. That's not it. I'm standing here not because the people who would catch me aren't here. It's because the people who'd catch me are right there. Just as Jessica had said, it did look like a storehouse used to keep gardening tools. A lawnmower and its replacement blades, a grass sickle and a hammer, a saw and some construction tools, piled up potted plants and bags of fertilizer, and treated just the same. The corpses of several people had been laid to rest there. No, had been thrown. Shannon, you threw them damn bodies in there? Genji? It's the servants, I'm telling you. I can't, bruh. Damn, I'm gonna slap the shit out of them. I could tell them by their clothes. That old bastard, he could only recognize them from their clothes because their bodies are mutilated? God damn. The bastard, I'm sorry, Rudolph, Kyrie, Kraus, Rosa, Goda, and how many, sorry, there's still more of them? How many people died? Fucking hell, I can't even count them on one hand. God fucking damn. No, actually. I didn't know whether it had been one of these gardening tools, which if used for something other than their intended purpose, could definitely be wielded with a naked brutality. Or whether some horrible tool had been brought in here specifically for this. Whatever the case, the bodies lying about here, each of them had been given an atrocious makeover. It's not a damn makeover, it's more like their faces. God. Actually, wait. Their faces were smashed, forced into an expression that a normal person couldn't make even after death. So we can only identify them by their clothes? I couldn't tell whether the eyes or the nose were, but I could find the mouth because it was damn. Oh shit, hang on. Gaping wide, the ridges of the teeth exposed. But the front teeth were missing, and even the cheek that should have covered that, god damn, was all torn up and exposed. Front teeth missing. Good. The stylish makeup that he spent way too much time fussing over for a guy is no help at all. Poor battler. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you deserve all that. Bro, mutilating a body is just like, it's just like extreme disrespect, especially after death. Like, what kind of hatred in your heart? God dang.
バトラさん、これ以上見てはいかん。こんな姿をお父さんもお母さんもあんたに見せたいわけがない。お父さんとお母さんのためにもこれ以上見てはいかん。
I wouldn't even like know what to say to that, you know?
死者ってのは安らかに眠る顔ってやつを拝ませてくれるんじゃねえのかよ。顔がねえんだ。
I
親父とキリエさんの顔がねえんだ。
I, 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 I.
どういう顔して死んじまったのかそれすらもわかんねえんだよ
Yeah, that's so disrespectful.
親父たちのことを思い出すときはこのくちゃくちゃの
That's what I'm saying. It's
顔をいつも思い出さったのかよ
too late for that.
そいつは最高だぜクソ親父のニヤニヤとした顔を思い出さなくていいんだからよ最高だぜ最高だぜ
This is nuts because now, me as battler, now I have to find who this is. Like, I have to find this killer, bro.
綺麗さの顔くらいも見たら綺麗さの悪党じゃねえたまにはムカつくと思ったけどよちょいとかっこいい俺の姉気分だったお人じゃねえかよこりゃねえよこんなのってねえよクロスおじさんなんかまだマシじゃねえか顔面じゃなくて側面だぜ
Oh. So that is Kraus. He's still identifiable.
少なくとも顔半分は残ってるじゃねえかよ
That's honestly, that's how I'm gonna read into this at this point.
まだマシだぜまだマシだぜ
So it's not Kraus. Kraus is dead. Oh. Trying to shut out my reckless words, Jessica tried to fill her ears with the sound of her own screaming. Oh, god damn.
よすんだバタラク
Yeah, fucking shit. Damn, battler. But it's like, what else are you gonna say, bro? Like,
もうよすんだ
this, don't even, you,
兄貴兄貴
fuck. Disregarding age and appearance, I fell to my knees, clinging to Anaki's waist and sobbing. It was as if I was crying on behalf of everyone there. Representing the feelings of everyone there, I screamed over and over. Oh, that's tough. Not that, I mean, it's more than tough. That's horrific and awful, but still. It's tough.
お父さん
His parents are fine.
倒れているのはクラウスおじさんルドルフおじさんキリエおばさんにローザおばさんゴーダさんで5人
いや6人やここにもう一人おる
Is she tore up from the floor up like the rest of them? The body that Hideyoshi was looking down on now was hidden in the shadow of a mountain of random objects, in a blind spot to George, who stood by the entrance. So George couldn't tell whose body it was. Therefore, George cursed himself. He cursed that part of himself that imagines the worst and is always right.
じゃあお父さんの足元に倒れているのはシャノンなんだね
ああシャノンちゃんや
Oh, his fiancée. George was completely silent. He shook slightly, his lower lip trembling. He wanted to run up to his beloved, screaming and crying, "Do it!" But before rashly running up to her, he mustered up all of his strength and asked his father, "Is she wearing the ring?" Listen, I only say do it because there's still something fishy about all of this, bro. It's something fishy about Nanjo. It's something fishy about Natsuhi. It's something fishy about every single servant still. And still Kumasawa. I need to see her physically. Unless we're all holding hands, I'm gonna suspect you. That's how I feel.
クラウスおじさんたちと
Yeah, is her face blown off too? Is her face mutilated, body strung all over? Hideyoshi deeply understood the meaning of those words. so he couldn't give George a quick answer. No, he thought that to George right now, that was the only possible sincere and loving response. When George had asked whether she was the same, he had meant to ask whether her corpse was the same as the others. Since Hideyoshi hadn't denied it, it meant that the body was just as horrible. Does it? Ooh.
いや、あかん。どうして？だって、もう二度とシャノンの顔を見られないんだよ。その最後の顔。
Let's have a doctor look at her, okay?
どうして見たらいけないんだよ。
お前が最後にシャノンちゃんに会ったのは昨日か。そうか。そのシャノンちゃんは別れ際にお前にどんな顔を見せたんや。
This man has the country accent now?
素敵な笑顔だったよ。
After receiving the ring, she was bewildered, even though her heart should have been decided. Bashful, and so embarrassed to show him that face that she ran away. That expression was revived in George's mind. Oh, that's beautiful for him.
そう。ならシャノンちゃんもその笑顔をお前に残したいと願うはずや。
The riddle has like a love component to it, so I wonder what that means in this context. If they solve the riddle. Hideyoshi looked down upon Shannon's body lying at his feet. Just like the other bodies, it was in such a horrible state that it would make anyone want to cover their eyes. Okay. So it does look bad? Okay, thank you. Half of the face had been smashed off, and no more than half of her expression remained. If that remaining half, soaked with blood, had been wiped clean, that graceful smiling face might have peeked out. Only half of it. Damn. Maybe Shannon is dead. Without thinking, Hideyoshi slapped his hand over his eyes. How cruel. If only all of it had been crushed. If they were going to crush it, then he might have been able to deceive George's heart for a while by saying that it was just someone else wearing Shannon's clothes. Yet, they had left half of the face. It caused the body so much humiliation and also made it clear that this body was none other than Shannon. Damn, okay, so the game is telling me this is Shannon, for real. How inhuman, how monstrous. Oh yeah, that's true. My brother. There at Hideyoshi's feet, trying his best to burn the image of the remaining half of Shannon's expression into his eyes, was Cannon. Cannon was not crying. Tears had risen to his eyes, but they did not drip down. But that didn't mean that he wasn't feeling as much sadness as everyone else. Losing Shannon, who had lived with him in the gospel house, whom he had loved as a sister, must have been just the same as losing a blood relative.
ジョージ、シャノンちゃんはきっとありがとう言ってるぞ。お前に恥ずかしいところを見られとうなかったんや。きっとお前が耐えてくれたこと。
分かってる。分かってるよ、父さん。
George leaned against the outside wall of the storehouse, sinking down powerlessly.
父さん、頼みがあるんだ。
なんや。
僕の代わりに見てほしいんだ。シャノンは指に指輪をつけてるかな。
指輪？ちょいと見てみる。
Damn. Sorry, Hideyoshi crouched down. As he did, Cannon silently pointed to one of Shannon's hands.
ああ、
あるで。こりゃダイヤの指輪や。クズダイヤとちゃう。なかなかの値打ちもんや。
それはどっちの手のどの指にあるのかな。
と左手の薬指や。そっか、シャノンちゃん婚約しとったんか。
ジョージ。
Nah, she's not. Now's not the time.
あなたまさか。
エヴァ。
Yeah, just reel it in.
今はそんなん関係ないで。シャノンちゃんは男に将来を約束されとったんや。一生を幸せにしちゃると男に言わせたんや。それが誰かは問題とちゃうで。男にそこまで言わしめて女の本気いつこの指輪をもらったんかは知らん。誰が渡したかも知らん。だがそれでもシャノンちゃんは指輪をもらえたんや。
Wow, Hideyoshi's being a real one right
そして
now.
それを受け入れ左指輪を送った男もきっと喜んだんとちゃうか。
Aww. To most of the people there, Hideyoshi was simply disturbed by this extraordinary situation and was blurting out strange things. But to those who really knew the truth about George and Shannon's relationship, everything he said made sense.
そっか。ありがとう、父さん。
Yeah, wow. Hideyoshi might be actually a good person. George stood up. The traces of tears still streaked his face, but his expression had returned to its usual calm.
行こう。バトラ君、ジェシカちゃん。これ以上、僕たちがここにいると。大人の邪魔に
He
なる。
is so mature. A little too mature, honestly.
そうだな。
Jessica sniffled once, and trying to say that she was all right, she showed her face to her mother, who had been holding her the whole time. When she faced George again, she once again had on her usual face, although she still couldn't recover her smile.
バトラしっかり。
Oh, girl, both of his parents are gone. Battler kept on crouching in front of his parents' bodies.
すまねえな。がっつり泣いたら落ち着いたぜ。親父の野郎。普段はクソクソ言ってるくせに。ちょっと死んじまったくらいでピーピー泣くんじゃねえぜって笑ってやがら。仕方ねえだろ。親が死んだら泣くように。
True. Battler's face was still bright red from the tears, but even though it was forced, he had at least recovered enough to fake a smile.
カノ
Aw.
ン、お前もこれ以上ここにいてはいけません。子供たちを連れてお屋敷に戻っていなさい。
Did Cannon kill all these people? I just really just thought about it. But why Shannon? Natsuhi, unable to take a step into the storehouse, had been standing under the rain the whole— Actually, let me roll it back. Hang on. You almost got me, bitch. You almost got me. Everyone, all the servants, even when they were talking to Kenzo, they all knew about the ritual. So just because, okay, Shannon might be out of commission doesn't mean that she don't know what's don't mean that she don't know what's going on, okay? So, and also I might need more clues. So, no, all y'all, it's still anyone's game. Ain't no fucking witch. Don't fool me. You can't fool me. Natsuhi, unable to take a step into the storehouse, had been standing under the rain the whole time. Maybe she had her own way of grieving, different from Battler's. She realized that she had to take on a sense of responsibility now that her husband was dead. And you, bitch, I really don't trust. So she gave Cannon those orders.
はい。奥様。
Cannon rose silently and turned to face them. His face was pure white, almost as though his own heart had died along with Shannon. Aww. There was no life in his expression. Was there ever any? If during the course of a normal day, he had been instructed to do a tour of the beautiful rose garden, Cannon may have led the way for them. But now there was no distinction between Cannon and the children. They were now just kids of about the same age, with the wounds of having lost someone close to them. True, oh yeah, that's fair. Let me be nice. After seeing the children go back, Natsuhi gave orders to Genji. The phones don't work.
台風が通り過ぎるまでは来られないでしょうか。どうすればいいか指示を与えてくれるはずです。
わかりました。防災用の無線機がありますので、それで連絡します。
Good. When she heard that, Natsuhi remembered. That's right, the telephones are out today, weren't they? However, since it had been assumed that there could be trouble with the phones on this isolated island, a radio had been installed. Anyway, let's contact the police and seek their instructions. Everything else can wait. No.
残念ながら私には何もできませんな。
わかりました。ゲンジ、せめて主人たちの顔を
Wow.
覆ってやることはできませんか。このような姿を晒すこと。
Damn. When did she get all this, like... When did she get all this, like, self-confidence and dignity? From Kenzo? In the short, like, 12 hours? She's just gotten a grip? Okay. Genji picked up several towels hanging inside the storehouse when Ava stopped him in a shrill voice. Yeah, this is a crime scene. Yeah. Yeah, because we finna find out what the fuck just happened. Yeah, I hope you don't got a problem with that, right? Natsuhi glared at Ava testily. Objectively speaking, Ava was right. Yeah, she's not even bullshitting. Like, this look is the I'm not playing with you. Because she pulled that out during the conference a few times. Even so, she glared at Ava as though accusing her of refusing to do those tragic corpses, which had been humiliated even after death, the simple kindness of covering their faces. However, Ava had spoken both calmly and correctly. See, it's not about you, girl. See, you still got that streak to you. You're not slick. This horrible state was definitely not an accident. It was a crime. Period. Someone had killed them. Period. It was a murder case. Fucking period. And that case, they should all be careful not to further disturb the site. They had to aid the police as much as possible so that they might hand over a clue that could be used to find the detestable culprit. Period.
警察が来るまでここは手つかずにしておくべきです。
奥様、いかがなさいますか。
そうですね。
Okay.
わかりました。ここを閉ざしなさい。それから念のため。
Absolutely. We should absolutely put a lock on it. And when I look back through here, it better be the same way I fucking left it.
ここに来た時、シャッターの鍵は閉じていました。ということは、シャッターの鍵を使い、犯人が施錠したということです。
The key in the servants' room.
確かに通りや。じゃあここを開けた限り犯人の指紋が残ってるんとちゃうんか。
警察に証拠として提出する価値はあるでしょうけど、カノン君が普通に持ってここを開けるのに使用しちゃったわ。多分カノン君の指紋も付着しちゃってるわよ。
I bet it will.
そしてその鍵はさっき源氏さんに手渡され、源氏さんも素手で受け取ってる。大した証拠にはなりそうにないわね。
それは不用心でした。
Mm-hmm.
申し訳ございません。
源氏さん、 この倉庫の鍵は他にもあるんか？
Yeah, we asking the right questions now.
この一つだけです。
And it was in the servants' room,
と
okay?
いうことは犯人はその鍵を使用人室から持ち出し、
And then put it
そ
back.
して律儀に元の場所に戻した。
Who the fuck else would know that that key is in the servants' room? That's right. Hideyoshi's theory sounded plausible, but was actually very strange if you thought about it. Why would they go through all the trouble of returning the key they stole? No, if you think about it even more deeply, there are even some more bizarre points. Usually, when a criminal hides a body, they're trying to delay the point at which it will be found and use that time to escape. The actual place where the 6 were killed wasn't necessarily here, but they had been killed somewhere on this island. And it would be normal to think that the reason they had been carried to the storehouse was to hide the bodies and delay the discovery of the crime. But the graffiti, right, on the shutter that looked like an eerie magic circle had eloquently indicated that the corpses were hidden there. It didn't specifically say that they were here, but after 6 people had gone missing, by making such an obvious scribble and even returning the key to open it, it seemed almost as if someone had wanted the corpses to be discovered here, period.
とにかく一度は犯人が開け閉めをした施錠だけでは信用できません。犯人の手からもこの場所を保護する意味で施錠を新たにしたいと言っているのです。
いい案だと思います。私も
Where are we gonna tell the servants to get a new lock? Thank you. Genji fished around inside the storehouse and unsealed a brand new padlock which had been inside a small box.
鍵はどうなさいますか？
Give it to me.
私が持ちましょう。
Well, not I don't trust you.
責任を持って警察に手渡します。
Natsuki took the key to the padlock from Genji's hand. Oh my god, cat. After that, they all exited and lowered the shutter. Because of that, the corpses were once again sealed behind that shutter, covered with the gruesome magic circle. Genji crouched down in front of the shutter to fasten the new padlock. In addition to the main lock on the shutter, there is sometimes a place where you can attach your own lock in front of it. This was one of those types. In the midst of the roaring thunder and the pouring rain, the storehouse stood there ominously. On its closed shutter was a magic circle drawn in a creepy blood-like substance and swallowing up the bodies of 6 whole goddamn people. To Natsuhi, putting the new lock on may not have been entirely to preserve the scene for the police, but rather she might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all. To prevent any more victims from being swallowed by that airy demon. I guess, girl, but this seems far from over. He didn't even do anything. And honestly, take somebody with you that's not a servant, because I don't even trust that you'll do that. The adults left the storehouse. The ghastly magic circle drawn on the shutter, still swallowing the 6 bodies, loomed eerily, occasionally lit up by lightning. Bitch! I'm so sorry, Kat. I did not mean to scare you. What time is that? 9:45? Oh my god. Yes. Curtain rise on tragedy. Alright. Great job, everyone.